During the 2010s, a lot of what-if moments happened in the NBA. However, the biggest what-if moment in many people's opinions is what if Derrick Rose never got injured? Would he have led the Bulls to a championship? Would they have seen more success than they did? That's a question that we may never find out. However, with all the talk around Derrick Rose, there is another player from the 2010s who I believe is being overlooked when it comes to this what-if situation, and it is most definitely Blake Griffin. And while Griffin was definitely nowhere near MVP Rose's level, let's not take away from the impressive things that he did. In his rookie season, he averaged 22.5 points and 12 rebounds on his way to winning the Rookie of the Year, making the All-Star game, and winning the dunk contest. And while Griffin's rebounding never did reach the level that it once did in his rookie season, that's not to say that he didn't improve. In fact, he improved and became an all-around monster. Following his rookie and sophomore seasons, Griffin made it a priority to improve his free throw shooting, which was about 60% at the time. However, ever since that season, Griffin has shot a pretty good percentage for a big man, shooting in the low to mid 70%. Griffin also greatly improved his playmaking, shown by his assist numbers. Following his 2013-14 season, Griffin went on to average at least 4 assists per game in the following seasons. He also improved his ball handling greatly, given his ability to go coast to coast to the basket and dunk it on opponents. In addition to all these improvements, starting in the 2017-18 season, Griffin established himself to be a respectable three-point shooter, averaging at least 2 three-pointers per game. In fact, in the 2018-19 season, Griffin put up a career-high 2.5 three-pointers per game on 36.2% shooting from the three-point line. Looking at Blake's rookie season and looking at his most recent fully played season, which was the 2018-19 season, it's hard to see that Griffin would be able to evolve into the player that he did. In fact, coming into the draft, his NBA comparison was actually to the likes of Karl Malone and Antonio McDyess. However, when you look at his career now, it seems that he evolved into a player like Larry Johnson or maybe even LaMarcus Aldridge, but a lot more athletic. In fact, his game changed so much that in the 2018-19 season, you could probably argue that he was a guard given his ability to get to the basket off the dribble and the fact that he led the Pistons in assists, averaging 5.4 per game. When you look at it, it looks like a great career, right? But the unfortunate thing is that Blake never got to reach his full potential in being a top 10 player in the league. And why didn't he reach his full potential? I'll give it to you in one word: injuries. Injuries was the reason that Blake Griffin never reached the full potential that he once had. The injuries began the year he got drafted, more specifically the Summer League. After coming down from a dunk in a game, he injured his kneecap and it was revealed that he had a stress fracture in his left knee. After being told that he would only be delayed 7 weeks, it turned out the knee wasn't healing properly and he would have to have another surgery on it, ending his chances of playing in the 2009-2010 season. Following this injury, the next 4 years would be Griffin's most healthy stretch of games played. In fact, he only missed 20 games in his first 4 seasons in the league. Then came the 2015-16 season, which was the start of Blake Griffin's injury-plagued years. In fact, it began with one of the weirdest injuries we've seen to date. Griffin was angered by a staff member and decided that he was gonna punch him, and it resulted in him getting a fractured hand, as well as a 4-game suspension. Griffin returned on April 3rd and was able to help the Clippers secure home court advantage in the playoffs against the Portland Trail Blazers. However, in Game 4, he re-aggravated a previous quad injury and was later ruled out for the rest of the postseason. Griffin was limited to just 35 regular season games that year. In the 2016-17 season, Griffin was pretty solid, averaging about 21 points per game to go along with 8 rebounds and about 5 assists. Griffin was relatively healthy this season, playing 61 games. However, the major injury came during the playoffs in Game 3 against the Utah Jazz. Griffin suffered an injury to the plantar plate of his right big toe and was subsequently ruled out for the remainder of the 2017 NBA playoffs. The Clippers went on to lose the series to the Jazz in 7 and robbed us of one of the most exciting series that would have been, the Warriors versus the Clippers in the peak of their rivalry. Luckily for Griffin, he was able to surgically repair this injury and was able to re-sign with the Clippers on a 5-year, $173 million contract. And looking at it now, it seems to be one of the worst contracts in the league given how many games Griffin has played. But I digress. Coming into the season fresh off a 5-year extension, Griffin was looking to silence the critics that said the Clippers spent way too much money on an injury-prone player, and he also was looking for more playoff success than he once had. However, unfortunately for Griffin, at the end of November, Griffin suffered an MCL sprain against the Los Angeles Lakers and was subsequently ruled out for the next 2 months. However, he did return earlier than expected on December 29th against the Lakers again, and he dropped a game-high 24 points. But on January 29th, 2018, Griffin was traded to the Detroit Pistons for Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, and Boban Marjanovic. While him and Drummond were supposed to be the dynamic duo of the team, their talent didn't necessarily translate to wins, and on March 26th, he suffered a bone bruise in his right ankle and missed the final 8 games of the season, and the Pistons missed the playoffs. Griffin only played 58 games that season between the Clippers and the Pistons. However, in the 2018-19 season, Griffin finally returned to form, averaging a career-high 24.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game, while shooting 46.3% from the field, a career-high 36.2% from the three-point line, on a career-high 2.5 threes per game. Griffin was selected to the All-Star team for the first time in 4 years, and was named to the All-NBA third team. However, right before the season ended, he missed 4 of the final 6 regular season games because of a left knee injury, missed the first 2 games of the playoffs, and after being eliminated, he underwent left knee surgery, which would have him out for the start of the 2019-20 season. In his return back to basketball, many thought that Griffin would be able to lead the Pistons to the playoffs again after his phenomenal season in the previous year. However, Griffin was terrible. He only shot 35.2% from the field, shot an abysmal 24.3% from the three-point line, and only played a career-low 28.4 minutes per game. And unfortunately for Griffin, it seems that his season is gonna be cut short at just 18 games because he just had arthroscopic knee surgery on the knee that he surgically repaired the year before. Griffin has no timetable, and the Detroit Pistons have recently applied for a disabled player exception, which makes it seem like Griffin is definitely not coming back at all. The unfortunate thing about this situation is that Griffin was actively trying to change his playstyle in an effort to preserve his knees. He had to move to a more perimeter-oriented type of play in order to, lessen the pressure on his knees. He averaged 2.5 3-pointers per game in his last healthy season, and it showed that he had the ability to play like this, but his body betrayed him anyway, and we don't know where Blake Griffin is going to be next season. Let me know in the comments below where you think Griffin is going from this point on. Is he going to be the same player that he was in the 2018-19 season, or will his career just continue to steadily decline until he has to retire from the league? Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. Hit the post notification bell so you know when I upload next. And with all that being said, thank you very much for watching, and have a good day or night wherever you are.